Hi Engineering Janta, I am Vaibhav Shukla and today we are going to understand Deloitte NLA's syllabus and test pattern. Look, Deloitte has announced a national level assessment and this can be a gateway towards golden start of your career. So do not miss out on this opportunity because it's directly coming from the big fours, right? So you should be one step ahead while preparing and while getting yourself ready for this exam. For that, what you can do is, first of all, follow all these social media handles because you need to stay updated about every news of Deloitte NLA and we would be posting it out here so that you do not have to do the extra hard work. Also, top 3 comments today get Prep Insta Prime subscription for free. So go ahead, avail that if you're in the top 3 comments. Now, when I dive in deep in the hiring process, before that you need to understand what's the eligibility criteria of this, because you will only be able to go through these 2 steps if you're eligible, right? So I'll straight away dive in deep to the eligibility criteria. What you can do is you go to prepinsta.com/Deloitte and then a dash and NLA. Basically this URL is for the complete preparation of Deloitte NLA. Fine. What you can do here is you go and scroll on this page and go to the eligibility criteria. I'll tell you what exactly it is, and here you'll have every information about Deloitte NLA. Fine, on that URL. So, basic requirement in the educational qualifications is that if you're applying to the engineering track, you must be a BE or BTech in computer science engineering or information technology, in EC or any circuital branch for that. Same stands true for masters or the MTech or the integrated masters of technology. Also, people who are from MCA, masters of computer applications, are also eligible for this. Given that in all of these cases 2025 should be the graduation year. Coming to the academic performance, you must have scored 60% or above. And if you are somebody who's studying in the CGPA system, then your CGPA should be equivalent to 60% or above. And there is one very important additional criteria, which is you should not have applied to any of the Deloitte USI office in the last 6 months, and you should not hold any existing offer from any Deloitte entity, be it Deloitte India office, be it any subsidiary company, be it Deloitte USI office itself. You need not hold any offer. If you are holding any existing offer here, then you're not eligible for NLA. Fine. So we'll go back to the hiring process and we'll see what exactly it is. So once you register, I'll show you how registration form looks like after I explain this hiring process. Fine. So once you register, your resume shortlisting happens. For this, you need to make an ATS friendly resume. Okay. Here you need an ATS friendly resume with a score above 85 at least. Otherwise, better would be that you score above 19 ATS friendly resume. How do you do that? I have made a dedicated live on this. You can go in the YouTube live section of Prep Insta and you can check out that video where I have explained the ultimate way to build the resume. Okay. So there you will understand how to make it ATS friendly. Then you'll be having an online test which would of course contain aptitude, coding, programming, MCQs, etc. We'll dive in deep in this. And then you'll have technical interview which would last for 30 to 45 minutes. Then HR interview, same duration, and people who have done decently well in technical interview, top 20% people here would go for the HR interview and top 30% in HR. And that is why HR interview is also very important. You will have a lot of new things here. I'll be explaining in this video. So stay hooked till the end because this portion is going to come in the end. Fine. So once you have arrived here, almost 30% people here would get selected, rest would be rejected. And then offer would be rolled out to you if you have a clear background verification and if you haven't done any malpractice. Okay. So first of all, we'll come and see that how can we register for this. So this is the NLA page, the official page of National Level Assessment of Deloitte. We scroll down and you click on this button, registrations are now open button, and then what you do is you choose your track. Say your track is engineering track, you click on that and then you click on register now. All you need to do is go through this form and then click on next. this type of registration form would be in front of you. You agree to the terms and then you put your details, first name, last name, email address, mobile number, contact details, everything, address, education details, gap in education, internships, work experience, professional certifications, and then you attach a resume and then you submit this. Okay, so that's how you basically register for this particular exam. Once you've done this, what will happen is resume shortlisting, right? So you need to have an ATS friendly resume for this. Now, for resume shortlisting, as I told you, ATS friendly resume is necessary. So when you clear this out, you move to the further steps as I just explained you. Fine. Now, when I go further, what do you exactly need to prepare for this, right? So to prepare it, you need to have an understanding of basic skeleton of the exam. So if I come to the skeleton portion, in general aptitude, you'll be having two particular sections of quantitative ability and reasoning ability, 10 questions from quantitative ability, 12 questions from reasoning ability. Look, they'll be having the test on higher pro, so most probably you'll not be allowed to switch between the sections, and it might be possible that you can't even switch the questions. So you have to first attempt one question and then move to next. So be prepared accordingly, and 10 questions of quant would be asked, 12 questions from reasoning. Then you have language skills section where you have 10 questions which will be MCQ, and then 3 fill up the blanks. In technical skills, you'll have 30 MCQs and then 2 questions of coding. And all of this is to be done in 90 minutes. This 90 minutes is shared time for this. I'll tell you how to manage these 90 minutes. So from here to here, there are 65 questions which are MCQ or fill in the blanks or fill up the blanks in nature, right? But these 2 questions are fully, purely coding questions. Okay, so that's how, after combining these two, you have 67 questions in total and you have shared 90 minutes. So for these shared 90 minutes, you need to be super careful that you manage your 90 minutes such that here the time is less and you have ample amount of time for these 2 questions. I'll tell you how to manage that time, don't worry. Now moving forward, coming to the portion of general aptitude. In this section, you'll be having 10 questions from quant, as I told you, 90 minutes shared for the full paper, but you need to score at least 6 questions correctly here, okay? And in reasoning ability, total questions would be 12. The cutoff is approximately 9 questions to qualify this. This is based on the previous trends of NLA, fine. So moving ahead in quants, as I told you, it is 10 questions, right? And you need to attempt 6 correctly. For that, you need to see that every topic like profit loss, time, speed and distance, inverse, geometry, coordinate geometry, probability, permutation, combination, all of these topics that are written here are actually distributed in an equal manner. If you see 1 to 3, 2 to 3, 1 to 2, in such manner they are distributed. And if in such pattern questions appear in your exam, you cannot afford risking out any of these topics. Why am I saying so? Say that you left time, speed and distance. You left this. Fine. If you leave this, what will happen is, say 2 questions come from this portion. Now, you cannot attempt these 2 questions. For everybody, the cutoff is 60%, right? Because they need to mark 6 questions correctly. Anybody who has done all the topics, he needs to mark 6 questions correctly and 60% is the cutoff for him. But you cannot answer these 2 questions. So now, for you, there are 8 questions which you can attempt. And out of those 8, again, you need to mark 6 correctly, which basically means 75% of the questions you have to mark correctly. You have raised the cutoff for yourself if you leave just one topic out of these. You're getting it? Competition plays in this sense, okay? You're performing for a national level exam, think in those terms. What you can do for this is, you can go ahead and either you go on this and practice some previous year papers. I'll show you. On the Deloitte NLA page, what you can do is, you go ahead, see the placement papers, and section wise, even section wise you can do this. You go to the quantitative ability section and then start preparing for it. What you can do is you will have previous year questions here, and there are specific topic wise quizzes which are fragmented here. You can go ahead, you can check them, and then see, I've opened one quiz. What you can do is you start this quiz. This is free material. With Prime you get even the premium quizzes which are below this, and the advantage that this quiz offers is, say for example, I'll randomly mark this as the answer. This is the wrong answer. Now you know how many people have correctly marked the right answer, number one. Number two, you can see the graph of it, how this question was solved, how many people solved this question, in how much time they solved. This is the analytics. So this will provide you that where you are exactly standing in the competition. Okay, but we have even more interesting thing for you for preparing, and that is when you go ahead on this Deloitte NLA course on Prep Insta Prime. Now you have a dedicated course for this. Since 3 days, our team is not sleeping just to make this course in such a manner that you people have an absolute understanding from scratch. Look, here everything is covered. You need not go anywhere. You have a structured preparation here. So what you have is, say in quants, you will have previous year question papers, you have proper syllabus, numbers, mensuration, arithmetic ability, elementary statistics, data interpretation, simplifications and approximations, and even in this, surds and indices, logarithmic problems, everything is covered in detail. Fine. So what benefit it offers you is, for example, if you complete this course, you will be end-to-end ready for NLA. Okay, and the added advantage is you have approximately 200 plus courses on Prime. So you can study for companies like Cognizant, Gen Z, Capgemini, everything, right? Cognizant Gen Z is one of the entries through which you can enter Cognizant. But through these courses, you have 200 plus courses here, and I'll show you how they can help you. But these courses can be easily helpful and they can augment your preparation. And if you're buying this Deloitte NLA, you straight away get them as well. Basically, this is one single marketplace for all your preparation. Fine. Now, I'll go ahead and we'll move to the reasoning portion. Same happens with the reasoning portion. In this, a few topics are important. For example, if you see coding, deductive logic, blood relations, analogy and classification, they are coming every time. So you cannot lose out on them. Also, the difficulty here is easy to moderate. So you can score well here, but the moderate questions are usually time taking. So you need to practice a lot. And for that, I just showed you the Deloitte NLA page on prepinsta.com. It is free of cost. Go ahead, practice. Okay. But if you want to access the premium quizzes, the quizzes in which the exact pattern you can find being replicated, and from there it is a high chance that some questions or some themes might get repeated in NLA itself. So for that you will have to buy Prime. Okay. So logical word sequences, statement conclusions, you need practice for them, right? So go ahead, practice well, because we have resources collated at one place. What you can do is either you go ahead and start collating resources for yourself, or simply go to prepinsta.com, Deloitte NLA page, and start preparing. Everything at one place you'll have. Okay. Now, I'll go ahead. In the language section, again the time is shared. Fine. But here 10 questions would be MCQ, 3 would be fill up the blanks, and cutoff is 8 questions out of 13. Fine. So if 8 questions out of 13 is the cutoff here, basically the level that you can expect is easy to moderate only. And let me tell you, this is a scoring section, but where do you falter? Error identification, sentence improvement, preposition, conjunctions, reading comprehension, speed is a big issue here. In error identification, often you identify wrong things as errors. Okay, so you need to practice this a lot. This requires immense practice. Despite being easy, it is super confusing at times. So even for the easy portion, you should practice well. You should solve previous year questions, which you will find on Deloitte NLA page. You should solve some quizzes for this. Okay. What basically I'm saying is, you go ahead and solve some quizzes here. Fine. For the verbal questions, go ahead. This is verbal questions only. You go ahead, you start preparing it here. Fine. If you're somebody who is enrolled in Deloitte NLA online course, what you'll have here is, you have proper verbal ability sections where you have access to previous year questions, full length mocks also. Here you'll have full length mocks as well in this particular course. And then you'll have proper grammar section, comprehension, sentence, word completion, vocabulary, even vocabulary and narration are covered here. Fine. So when you go ahead after this, because language section is quite easy one, it is a scoring one, then comes the heart of this exam where almost 50% lies. Okay, look, you have total 67 questions, right? Out of them 32 are here. So approximately this is 50% of the exam, right? So if you carefully see, what you need to do is, for cutoff, you need to solve 22 MCQs in the technical section correctly, and in the 2 coding sections, all test cases should pass. Fine. So for this portion, you need to be very, very careful, very, very thorough. Your preparation should be top notch to gauge these questions correctly and to answer them correctly. Okay. Now, if I go ahead and you see for, just a minute, if you see for technical skills, SQL, DBMS, OS, the CS fundamentals would be asked in huge terms. Why am I saying so? Understand the business of Deloitte. Deloitte is an auditing and taxation company. Fine. It deals with a lot of data. And if it is hiring some engineering graduate, it basically expects that you know SQL, you know DBMS, so that you can play with the data. Okay, so this is data bundle. So you can play with the data. If in the resume you're having data science as the skill, if you're having top projects there, your resume will stand apart. How you can do that? Go on YouTube, on our channel. I have put a specific video of top 5 projects. I have given the resume descriptions there. Go ahead, check for the resume descriptions and then proceed with it. Fine. You can pick up those resume descriptions. They are ATS friendly. Customize them for your resume and play with them. Fine. Also, while working in the regulation or the government associations, because Deloitte does a lot of that, what you have to do is you need to be very, very careful about data. You cannot afford vulnerabilities here, right? So you need computer networks, you need testing, you need cybersecurity, you need cloud computing. Fine. For all of this, in Prime, in the NLA course, Prep Insta Prime NLA course, we have specifically covered this. Okay, we have specifically covered all these. I'll show you. And out of them, SQL is super important. You'll definitely have some questions on that. Fine. See, if I go on Prep Insta Prime, Deloitte NLA course, see, in coding and in coding, you'll have basic, intermediate coding, so that when you reach the coding section, you solve well. And in computer fundamentals, it starts from DBMS. Okay, you'll have proper DBMS lectures here. You'll have SQL. There is also a different SQL section for you. Then OS, computer networks, software engineering methodologies, so that you not just cover the testing portion, but agile portion as well. Okay. So once you're through this, then comes the 2 coding questions. One would be a coding nugget where something would be given to you, you need to fix something and then produce some output. And there would be one fully live coding question. Fine. So if you're somebody who is smart, what you will do is, you save your time initially. You solve in 20 minutes these sections of general aptitude and language. Okay. And then when you come to the technical MCQs, where 30 technical MCQs would be there, you solve that in approximately 20 minutes again, 20 to 25 minutes. Fine. Now, if you do so, what you have at your disposal is 45 to 50 minutes would be specifically given to these 2 questions. If you can do this, and this is doable, how can you do that? Immense practice, structured approach. How do you get that? You hop on to the Prime NLA course and straight away start studying from it. Go to Prep Insta Prime, take the Deloitte NLA course, start studying from it. Or if you're somebody who has covered this syllabus earlier, start preparing from the previous year papers available on prepinsta.com. It is for free. If you're somebody who cannot afford Prime, it is super affordable, however, but if you're somebody who cannot you are struggling for basic needs, then you can prepare it for free. धूमधाम से हो सकती है तैयारी, but time ज़्यादा लेगी. It will take a lot of effort from your side, so you have to bear that. As simple as that. Okay. So for these two particular questions, save as much as time you can. Okay. And for this, what you need to do is learn one basic language. Okay, learn language basics. Once you've done that, go to the Prep Insta Top 100 codes. I'll show you what it is. And then practice basic coding, intermediate coding, and if you can, go to the DSA coding as well, DSA for service-based companies, because Deloitte is a service-based company and there you'll need that particular type of practice. And for the interview, you first of all need to master at least one language, number one. Number two, you need to have Prep Insta Top 100 codes on the edges of your nails. Okay, to that extent you have to practice. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See. Go to the prepare section of prepinsta.com, go to programming, open top 100 codes. Fine. Why I'm emphasizing so much on top 100 codes is when you go, of course, I'm not a robot, but fine, I'll reload it. There's some ad, I guess. So yeah, if you scroll down and say I open reverse of a number, you'll have multiple solutions for one single problem. And that would give you a very good practice for this. Okay, you have method 1, you have method 2, and you can find it in your favorite language. So that's the best thing possible for you. Fine. So you can practice top 100 codes, then you can practice basic and intermediate coding. You have specific tracks on Prep Insta Prime for this. First of all, you learn a language from here. Then you go to basic coding, intermediate coding, competitive coding, whatever you want to learn, but basic and intermediate coding can put you through NLA. And if you are getting enrolled into this Deloitte NLA course, if you're getting enrolled into this, you're also getting access to these courses. Okay. Then what you can do is you practice these tracks. Also, you can find courses like Automata Fix, which can provide you a practice of coding nuggets. Fine. So that you do here, and then you'll find projects. End-to-end projects are built on Prime. You can find it out there. Once you do that, DBMS, SQL, OS, CN, SDLC, they are covered in detail in the Deloitte NLA course, which is on Prep Insta Prime. Okay. For this particular portion, also you have a YouTube video of top 5 projects. So do not miss out on watching that. It is a short, crisp video. It can help you. Now, for the HR preparation, you have group discussions, you have puzzles, you have guesstimates, you have case studies. For all of this, specifically for sections like guesstimates and puzzles, you usually don't have a lot of guidance or a lot of material. So what you can do is, one thing is that you go to Prime in this NLA preparation course. We have divided all these sections specifically. See, in the interview preparation, you will have everything: puzzles, HR interview, group discussion, even the resume preparation is covered here, and guesstimates. Everything is well sorted out here. Also, on this page where we were opening the Deloitte NLA page, there also you can have this. Okay, I'll show you. So on NLA page as well, you can see that you can find technical skills, verbal ability, reasoning ability. You prepare for them from there, and then you move on and hop on to the Prime course, the Deloitte NLA course, and then you prepare for this interview. Okay. So once you've done that, in addition to these two, because these two are mandatory, after them, what you can do is you can practice DSA Advanced from Prep Insta Prime if you want to. Also, advanced projects, longer interviews, more difficult questions would provide you an edge over the total competition existing in market. So basically, you'll move way ahead and you might be in top 2-3% of the total competition existing in the market for this particular exam. So all you can do is start from now. Have a register in your hand, start writing a strategy. I've carefully explained every aspect of its syllabus, its test pattern, and all you need to do is figure out one clear path for yourself and move ahead. Also, if you know somebody who needs this information, your friend, your senior, your peers, go ahead, spread this information as much as you can. Keep on doing good without any expectation. A lot of good will come back to you. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you. Have a wonderful day ahead.